Good morning, everyone. David Paul speaking. I'm the Managing Director of VectorVest in the UK. Just want to look at the UK and the US markets after a pretty dismal couple of days. That is the VectorVest composite of the UK. It's an equally weighted index of all of the shares that we follow in the London stock market and on AIM. I've superimposed our longest term market timing system on that. They're called confirm calls. And hopefully you can see October 2018, a buy signal, a sell signal before the great sell-off in February, end of February. And then we got a buy signal on the 27th of April, which lasted up until a couple of days ago. The longest measure of the trend on VectorVest is down. The short-term measure of the trend has been down for the last 6 or 7 days. So we are in a down situation. The green line study and the window below the price is a proprietary breadth measurement called the buy-sell ratio. And as you can see, as the market has been creeping up over the last couple of months, it's really gone nowhere at all. The buy-sell ratio has been falling until it went negative. There are more shares on a sell recommendation than on a buy recommendation. So VectorVest, as we'll see in a second under the tactics section, does not advocate buying stocks at this time. So I've advised VectorVest clients to don't buy anything new. Watch the stocks that they've got very carefully in relation to the VectorVest calculated stop losses, and have a look at your portfolio. And those shares that have done nothing or underperformed in the up run since April will consider raising some cash. So that's what I've been telling people. This is the American market showing a pretty similar picture. The longest term measure of the trend has been down for 3 days. Short term measure of the trend has been down for about nearly 2 weeks. So we're in a down situation in the US. And as you can see, as the US market outperformed the UK market because it's gone above the February high. But during this drift up, folks, the buy-sell ratio couldn't come to the party at all. And that divergence is a leading indicator of change. And certainly in that case, it dragged on longer than we expected. But nevertheless, we now are in a down situation. The short-term trend is down. The long-term trend is down. That's the S&P 500, and that's a 4-hour chart, and that's the overnight market, now based on the futures market. And the low is the stock market low that happened on the 24th of September, and that was that nice last run up. And we've got this pullback, and the pullback, those of you that have studied the Fibonacci ratio, the pullback has stopped at my favorite fib level, a 78% retracement of the last range. So this level, which is at 3,280, give or take a tick, is very important. So market has risen off that level. Certainly if that level can be held, then maybe there's some positivity around and we've reached the bottom of a cycle. I can't expect, ladies and gentlemen, that the noise or the volatility is going to go away until this election is well past. And of course, we've got the second wave of the virus scaring the living daylights out of everybody in terms of what it's going to do to earnings going forward. So an awful lot of noise around. I haven't got a position at the moment, but I'm watching that level very closely indeed. In the US, I'm looking very strongly at Microsoft because Microsoft came out with such outstanding numbers the other night, and I think it was as the numbers came out, anybody would have expected Microsoft to have rallied a little bit, but it didn't. It fell quite hard, and that in fact was a measure of the overall market. Nevertheless, Microsoft's also sitting at that 78% retracement of the last run-up. And certainly if the market were to, in fact, find a bottom, I think that I'll certainly be looking at Microsoft for a long swing trade over the next few days. Market is a long way off finding a bottom. And clearly we've got a huge amount of news coming out after the bell today. We've got news from all of the big tech players, which have been the leaders in this run-up since April. So Google, Apple, etc., are all reporting after the close today. So Microsoft looking good. Market needs to find a bottom. The gold market. Well, my advice to everyone, I think I spoke about it on here the last time, was there's a level in the market at 1938. And I advised all vector-based clients to sit in their hands, and any gold purchases onto the market, in fact, broke and closed above 1938. That's the bullion market. And that hasn't happened as yet. And unfortunately, I think there is a probability now that if the stock market softens, that we can pull back to this 62% of the last range, which is at 1825. I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not, but I think we've got a probable pullback to run the stops under these last two lows. And my favorite level for that would be the confluence of the fib and that old high at 1825. So I wouldn't be at all surprised to see weakness in the gold market before the uptrend resumes again. I see that Pan-African Resources has pulled back to the bottom of that trend line. Last time I was on here, I pointed out that flag pattern, but the flag pattern didn't break, and my 1938 didn't break, so I'm still waiting here. Polymetal is pulled back to support, 62% retracement of the last range, and certainly if the gold market should break up both Pan-African Resources as a marginal miner and Polymetal as a FTSE 100 constituent, look like good bets. Still a long way to go. That pullback to 1825 could be quite severe. And that's the tactics on the front page of VectorVest today, folks. We send this advice out every day. The color guard is bearish. VectorVest does not advocate buying stocks at this time. You get very, very lucky when you just do what the thing tells you to do. Anybody that's interested in VectorVest, go to vectorvest.co.uk and you can take a 30-day trial. So if you want to get hold of me, david.paul@vectorvest.com. Thanks very much, folks. Sit in your hands for a day or two until the dust settles. And there's going to be a lot of noise, I think, over the next 10 days.